Hello and welcome to the TU Dublin Library Guide to the 7th edition of APA Referencing. This is Part 1, an introduction. Why do we provide references? At university level and beyond, it is important when writing both your assignments and essays to make clear where you have found your information. This allows readers to do three things: to see that you are giving credit to the original authors, to quickly find the source of your information to seek clarification or read further if necessary, and to see that you are presenting the depth and scope of your research in an easily identifiable way. Many organizations have put together standardized manuals on how references and citations should be done in any written work, but all emphasize the importance of formatting references and citations in a uniform way, so readers know exactly where to look to find verification of your research. What is the APA? APA stands for the American Psychological Association. APA has designed a manual to assist authors and students to present their writing in a clear and precise manner, ensuring that full credit is given to whatever sources they use when formulating their ideas. The most up-to-date manual is the 7th edition, which was published in 2019. The APA manual requires that every time you provide any information that you got from someone or somewhere else, be it an idea, an argument, a statistic, or a fact, you reference twice in the document you are writing. First, a short in-text citation, and then a longer reference at the end of the document. Both of these must be present in any academic work. Let's take a look at in-text citations. In practice, this means when writing your assignments, every time you quote someone, that is, use someone else's exact words, or paraphrase someone, that is, use someone else's ideas, but put them in your own words, you will need to place an in-text citation. These typically will consist of the author's surname and the date when the work was published. If you have used a quotation, you should also include the page or pages where you found that quote, if you are using a print resource. The idea behind this is that a reader can then use this information to identify exactly what source on the reference list you are using to make any particular point. So let's dive into how to write an in-text citation. Most of the time when writing an in-text citation, you will be doing so after paraphrasing an author's idea or work. Ordinarily, you will place their surname and the publication date of the work you are citing in brackets or parentheses at the end of a sentence, as you can see here in this first example. This is called a parenthetical citation, due to the use of brackets or parentheses. Note as well, if you use a source with 3 or more authors, you should write the first author's name and then et al., as shown here also in this first example. When citing websites, never place a URL in an in-text citation. If you refer to the author in the body of your work, saying, for instance, Adams said or Adams claimed, this is called a narrative citation. For these, you do not need to place the citation at the end of the sentence, but rather simply place the date of the published work after the author's name, as in the second example you see on the slide. If you include a quotation, you handle this in largely the same way, but also include the page number, if available, where you found the particular quote, separated from the date with a comma. In this case, narrative citations can have the date by the author's name, as shown here, or included with the page number at the end of the quote. Let's take a look at what a reference list is. At the end of your work, you should include a list of references. This should be on the last page of your work, separate from the body of your assignment, and include a reference to every text that you have cited in the body of your work. It should be noted that while many people use the phrases references or reference list and bibliography interchangeably, the APA style views them as two different things. A bibliography would contain everything you have read that has influenced your work, including material that you have not used as an in-text citation. As such, they tend to be longer than a typical reference list. As you are only required to provide a list of references and not a bibliography, you should title your list accordingly, as references. Your list of references must be organized alphabetically by the author's surname. If you cannot find an author's name, you should list it alphabetically according to the first significant word in the title, leaving out words such as the, an, etc. Let's take a look at how to include books in your reference list. The exact way you should format your references depends on the format of your original source of information, whether you have used a book, an article, or some other format. For books, you start with the author or editor's name, surname and initials first, and then the publication date in brackets or parentheses. If there are between 1 and 20 authors, you include every name, separated by a comma or an ampersand. Then a full stop, the title of the book in italics, and then the edition in brackets. You can see here we have abbreviated edition to ED period. That's how you should write it as well. And then full stop, the name of the publisher, and then a full stop. Ebooks follow the same format as print books. The digital object identifier, otherwise known as DOI, must be included if available. For journal articles, you start again with the author's name or names, followed by the date of publication in brackets. Then you have the title of the article you consulted, followed by a full stop. Then the title of the journal where the article was published, this must be in italics, then a comma, the volume number, followed by the issue number in brackets, then the page numbers, and a full stop. If you cited an eJournal article, you must also include the DOI or URL at the very end. Again, do not put a full stop. If you can find the author or authors of the webpage you have cited, you start with their surname, then first initials as before, followed by the resource title, or the heading given to the webpage or site you consulted, in italics, and that's followed by a full stop. The year of publication goes in brackets, same as before, but bear in mind if you can't find the publication date, you can put in N period D period in its place, and this is short for no date. If you know the information on a site is likely to change, for instance, if it lists the day's exchange rates or the current membership of a committee, then you write the word retrieved, thus the date you access the site, and then from, and then the URL. Again, remember you do not put a full stop at the end of a URL. If there is no identifiable author, then use the organization that published the website as the author. For instance, Wikipedia, the World Health Organization, etc., would go in the author's space instead of an individual. Such organizations are known as corporate authors. To learn more about APA referencing, please watch the next videos in the series on compiling in-text citations and your reference list. The APA LibGuide on our website has more detailed information as well. And if you need any help at all, please contact a member of library staff. Thank you.